Howdy old Twy here. Welcome to the VIP room here at Midnight Pint. With me today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend, fellow brony and writer, and a pair of lips that floats behind a microphone in the middle of Scotland, Kyle McCall, also known as Midnight Scribe from Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes. Kyle, how are ya?
I'm good. Well, the lips are nice. The rest of me I can't say much about, but the lips are good.
Well, if you're just a pair of lips, there's not really much else that you need to worry about, isn't there?
Exactly, it's great. I mean, I've got someone else looking after the rest of my body. It's in some storage container somewhere in Inverness. I pay him £100 a month. The rest of the body better be there when I go pick it up.
Oh yeah, no. If I manage to get the Bernie Scott and you're literally just a pair of floating lips, I'm going to be highly concerned.
Well, would it be the weirdest thing you've seen at a convention?
Probably not, but you know.
Yeah, it's probably in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely right up there. Anyway, as some of you may know, I watch and am a fan of Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes. It's partly the inspiration for this interview series for 2 Pints Please. Kyle being my writer senpai, and vastly more famous than I probably ever will be.
Oh no, don't shoot yourself down, man. Look, it's not like I'm not famous. None of us are famous. We're just bronies having fun, talking about all sorts of cool things in the fandom. It's amazing. You've got this nice pub down here, I tell you. Is there any chance of me getting a pint here in this pub? I don't know why I've turned into a 1940s gangster, but we'll go along with it.
Yeah, I was like, what is that accent? What?
I have no idea. I have just been watching it. Like, I have just been watching The Drive by Night. It's a Humphrey Bogart flick from 1940s. So I'm somewhat in the period.
Ah, I get it. It's like when I get drunk around English people and then suddenly I crack out the "Hello, Gabna," and it's just that for the rest of the night.
Yeah, once you're trapped, once you've ended up in a period piece, you're trapped for the rest of the day. I know precisely how it feels.
As it goes, we best get into the questions, because I don't want to have this to be excessively long. First question is quite simply, what do you do and how long have you been doing it for?
Well, let's see. I have been living and breathing for 24 years and 4 months now, and I'm getting the hang of it now. I can actually do the whole breathe in, breathe out thing now. I tell you what, it is so hard actually trying to do that. But apart from that, on the side, when I'm not breathing and not working, I do, well, as you mentioned, I do a show called Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes, which is on the Hound Bronies channel. And basically, I interview various creative people in the My Little Pony fandom, you know, artists, musicians, vloggers, interviewers, all sorts of people, and basically just learn a little bit more about them. And, you know, it was designed to kind of give back to the community, allow them to learn a little bit more about their favorite creators.
Brilliant. It's quite a good series, if I do say so myself. It's a self-nominated #1 fan.
Oh yes, our #1 fan. No, listen, we need to get you a badge or something, like a little, like was it #1 Creative Vibes fan?
Something like that. It's just a picture of your persona, Midnight Scribe, winking or something. It'd be fantastic. Maybe we can commission someone to do art for it.
Oh yeah, kind of like the MGM logo or something, just like...
Oh, it would be brilliant. You present it to me if I ever get to Scotland. The next question is, well, you kind of skipped like how long you've been doing your series for. But you started last year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, we started last summer, so we've nearly been gone a year, and we've actually done 2 seasons. We've just finished season 2 now, and we just had Dr. Wolf on the show for the finale. So now I get to have a wee break while we try and figure out what we're doing for season 3.
I can't wait for season 3. I still got to finish season 2 though. I've been very lazy of catching up on all of my podcasts that I listen to, but yours is called high priority.
No, hey, look, listen, you're still keeping that #1 Creative Vibes fan badge. That isn't changing, even if you are a little bit behind. But no, it's been so much fun doing the show, you know. It's been and it's been great that I've been able to actually meet so many people as a result of it, including yourself, actually, because, you know, I think it was when I was just starting out with Creative Vibes, the first season, like the first few episodes, I think you and I met somewhere in the weird world of Skype.
I do believe it was through Mad Munchkin's Picardo channel, actually.
Was it the Picardo?
Yeah, it was there that we first bumped into each other, and I learnt from Sugar Love of Creative Vibes. And then I think it was on Rose's channel we started talking more, and I called you my senpai, and everything just escalated from there.
Yeah, and I remember you saying afterwards that your plan was to like get into the Brony community and make all the connections and all the friends, and by calling me senpai, you found a way of doing that. I feel used, I tell you, man. But having said that, you call me senpai, so I can only love you.
It would only get worse when we finally meet each other in person.
Exactly. The shipping shall be real.
That said, with your creative vibes, what part about it have you enjoyed the most from doing it?
Best part I've enjoyed out of Creative Vibes. I mean, apart from meeting the guests and learning about what they're doing, what I really enjoy about it is just that it's a really fun thing for me to do with my friend Sugar Dove, who she came up with the show, produces it, edits it, gets the guests, does some of the artwork. Like, she's the main force behind it, and being able to, like, we've been friends for 20 odd years, so we've, most of our lives has been spent together in some way or another, and to actually be able to work together on a wee project and bond in that way and enjoy it so much, I mean, it's meant a lot to me. And it's, we occasionally butt heads here and there, but for the most part we get along really well because, as we've decided, she is the puppet master, she controls everything, and I'm just the mouthpiece. If she takes over the world, if this ends up being Half-Life 2 and she's Wallace Breen in City 17, I will be the voice on the computer screens telling you how great the world is.
Well, it'll be at least a good voice to listen to until everything goes to hell and someone with a crowbar who never speaks comes along and destroys everything, which I'm pretty sure some people in our Skype groups would think would be me.
And John, the worst thing for an interview would probably be a guest who never speaks. I mean, imagine if you had to interview Gordon Freeman, just like, so Gordon, we heard you were in Black Mesa when that incident occurred. I mean, do you have any comment on that?
It would be terrible.
Exactly. It's just. But having said that, someone's got to make it. I just like the idea of like Dr. Freeman, just like imagine like if you had like some radio show, just like call now with your agony uncle, Dr. Freeman, for all your medical needs, and then just silence, just a constant musical loop in the background as he keeps killing head crabs behind the scenes.
Elevator music and the occasional sound of something squealing in pain.
Probably one of the scientists that he was working with.
Oh, it'd be like a horror show.
Maybe. I reckon it would be a light-hearted cookery show.
Quite. Now, let's get into some more questions. First, we'll get into the nitty-gritty. The one that you always have to ask every brony at every possible chance. How did you get into MLP and the brony fandom?
How did I get into the MLP and the brony fandom? Well, actually... Sorry, I had to bring up something that just happened recently, was the fact that, I've been on the NBA show quite a lot recently. I was a host for a wee while, temporarily, and then I left and whatnot. And actually, just recently, Norman, the host of the show, came back to me and he said, one of the watchers had a question, and it was actually about that, because I told my origin story on MBS, which was the fact that a few years back I was volunteering at a youth cafe in the city, and Sugar Dove was there and she was volunteering there, and this new girl came along who would only ever talk about My Little Pony, and she would talk about it with Sugar Dove, and that is all they would talk about, and there was no way of getting a word in edgeways. And I quite fancied that girl, so I figured, right, okay, I know what to do. I'll watch the first 2 episodes of My Little Pony, because it's a 2-part episode. Watch that, come back next week, say I've watched it, talk a bit about it, I'll just work my way in there, we'll see what happens. And in true Midnight Scribe fashion, it backfired horribly, because what happened was I ended up watching the marathon, the first 2 seasons, and never got the girl. And I became a brony.
Oh, well, at least you're here. You're great. You have me, you have James and Maddie and Sugar Love. You've got all the greater people. You got an upgrade.
Oh, yeah, no, listen, look, I am not regretting my decision at all. No, it's been absolutely fantastic meeting so many great people in the fandom, and just the amount of fun things and friends that I've been able to get as a result of this. Because, I live in a nice place in Inverness. It's quite nice, but we don't have a lot of friends here. Friends move away, schedules change, you lose friends, you gain friends, the usual things. And, it's quite quiet here. So to actually have so many friends in the online realm with all the bronies, and to be able to meet at conventions and so on, is absolutely fantastic. And, and to meet so many creative people and fun people, who have very similar sets of humor and, I can relate to. It's, it's incredibly fantastic that I've been able to actually share this experience with them, and I do kind of regret that I kind of went out of the fandom for a wee while, around about season 3 and 4. I kind of drifted away for a while, and I kind of got back into the fandom as a proper brony as opposed to a trainee brony, because Sugar Dove drafted me in for Creative Vibes. It was kind of her way of bringing me back in. Plus, apparently I had a better voice than her, but that's a debatable point because she has a very nice soft voice.
I can confirm she has a lovely voice. Of course, I would prefer your dulcet tones.
Oh my.
Speaking of people in the fandom, there's at least 12 episodes in both of the seasons, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
even more, actually. Listen, number one Creative Vibes fan, there's a 15 in each season. There's loads of them. We're actually done 31 episodes of Creative Vibes over the last 2 seasons.
My God, that's so many. You've spoken to so
I
many
know.
people. Of course, I know that at least one of them is not a brony themselves, which was Rolicious from season 1.
Oh, yeah, no, great artist. Lovely man. Love him to bits. He's my bro. And, yeah, he's a lovely guy. And he's a kind of friend of the fandom. That's what he's kind of classed as, you know. And he's done plenty of MLP pieces before as well. Obviously, he's done art on the side, but, you know, his trade is as a freelance artist. And you should commission him. Look up Rolicious. He rhymes with delicious. There, I've got a plug-in. He now owes me money and a commission.
I'm sure he'll love to have a plug. I'm not sure if he wants to pay you for it.
No, I doubt he will. He'll offer me bro hoofs and a game on Left 4 Dead or something. I don't know if he'll work out something. We always work out something.
Oh, this is going up on my channel. I say it's for free. Because I can always cut that out if I feel like it.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, hey, listen, you have creative control over this. You can do whatever you want on this.
I know, I shouldn't have so much power.
Oh, listen, you will enjoy the power, at least for the first wee while, until you get burdened with it. And then you will become evil.
I was already evil.
Well, evil-er?
I suppose
maybe.
It could happen.
It's possible. It's not out the realm of the possibilities.
Back to the questions, before we go completely off topic. Again, like the first recording, which was 4 months ago, which we never used. It's fantastic. I have to ask this because I don't believe you really had an answer for this the first time we did this interview. But which episode of Creative Vibes was your favorite to record?
Oh, favorite episode of Creative Vibes? Oh, that is a hard question. I'm not too sure, because there's been so many great ones that I've personally enjoyed. I mean, the first season was kind of a bit of a blur just because of the way it was done, because we kind of didn't mean to have a show. We kind of, we thought, oh, why don't we just do a wee podcast? We'll have James on, that'd be quite nice. And, oh, Lurker Cat says she'll be on. We could have her on, and we could have Ro on and Norman. That'll be nice. And then suddenly, before you knew it, we had 16 people on. It was like, okay, we've actually got a season of a show. Oh boy! So it kind of all came together far too fast. And in season 2, we recorded over crikey, it must have been about 4 or 5 months. Which is extremely separate, and this is in between everything else going on. But we had so many great guests on, and I don't think I could really narrow it down to one. I mean, it's there are certainly episodes where obviously I knew the people beforehand. Like, for example, Tyne Dagger, I got introduced to him a couple of weeks before we recorded his episodes, because Sugar Dove said, hey, look, we've got this guest on, he does videos and artwork and LP fandom, he's a bit shy, could you perhaps say hello to him before we do an episode? I was like, sure, I'll say hello to Tyne Dagger. I introduced to him, and yeah, I think within 2 days we were playing games together, and Sugar Dove was jealous that I was nicking all the friends in the MLP fandom. But he's awesome. I like Tyne Dagger. He's a humorous guy, I enjoy his company, and he's a fun gamer. We've got a very good, similar sense of humor, which works out quite well.
Yes, I'm actually quite thankful because I am friends more or less with Ty now, thanks to you, which is fantastic. It's been a lot of fun. Playing Civ 5, a game I normally wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, you and me both. I mean, Civ 5 is a game. I mean, I'm not a big fan of RTSs, so they're not my sort of thing. But Civ 5 has been the exception to the rule. I found it incredibly enjoyable, mainly because of the company I play it with. It's a fun game to play, and of course, we all want the great library.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, we will all get it except for Ty, the one who wants it the most.
I know. Well, maybe one day he'll get it, perhaps, if he loans it from me or something.
Yes, he'll build one up himself, book by book.
Exactly. Until he has to pay all the finder's fees and return the books back to wherever he nicked them from.
Back to questions about Creative Vibes itself. Well, one of these questions I can scrap because it was, can you tell us anything about the second season? But the second season's over now. So is there anything you can tell us about the third season?
Things I can tell you about a third season are that we're currently in the pre-production Are We Going to Do It segment of season 3. We're basically trying to figure out what we're going to do behind the scenes, which is kind of going to dictate it, because we're trying to get an artist on board who's going to do all the artwork, which means we're going to have to work out finances. Luckily, I've got a new job, so we can work that out relatively easily, hopefully. Touch wood and all the rest of that. We're working on music to get another tune, perhaps. I like the season 2 tune. It was very, very cheesy, and that is very much in my favour. But I think we might possibly get another theme. We're not sure, because Sugar Dev now has a Launchpad keyboard thing that's about 2 miles long, so I think she's experimenting with tunes there, and I know there's a couple of people that have been wanting to volunteer for the show, so we're basically trying to rally up the troops and figure out what we're doing, and also actually get some guests together, because thanks to the finale of season 2, it's certainly put us a bit more on the map, thanks to Dr. Wolf giving us a brilliant plug on his channel. So, our views have gone up, we've gotten people interested in us, and so hopefully it means that we'll continue to have some really nice guests in season 3. We'll have 1 or 2 big names probably, but it'll be the usual mates. We like to have a lot of up-and-comers on the show. That's kind of what we enjoy doing, and giving back to the community. And I was about to say greenlighting. What is it? What's the term? I'm a writer. I should know the word. Spotlighting, greenlighting, bringing attention to other people. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a word, and I can't think of what the word is. What's the word?
I'm fairly sure spotlighting is that.
Oh, we'll go with spotlighting. Spotlighting will do. It's a suitable word. We've got plans anyway for season 3. We're quite where it will take us. Oh, hang on. I've forgotten the other thing. I can't give away too much about this, just because it is in super pre-planning stages and we can't really say anything. But there may possibly kind of be a second host on several of the episodes for season 3. A co-host, if you will. Can't say who, can't say what, not even sure on what circumstances, but it is on the cards. So it'll be Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes and guest.
Ooh, that is actually quite interesting. I was not expecting that twist at all. Now I am intrigued. I am very intrigued.
Well, you're going to have to wait until 2016. Not even 2016, 2017. We're in 2016. Oh, good lord, 2017. 2017 is when ideally season 3 is going to be launching, because I think we're going to spend a bit of spring recuperating and then working on the planning for season 3 to make it even better than what we have done.
So I have to wait just over half a year. How could you do this to me?
Because I'm a cruel and despicable lips.
Oh, well. Speaking of the plans for the next season, here's a question that will be very interesting, because I believe when I first interviewed you, the answer to this question has actually since been on the show. I'm trying to recall. I'll bring up and double check the original recording, but that's effort that I don't want to go through right now. The question is there anyone you would love to have on a guest on Creative Vibes?
Ooh. Yeah, maybe, possibly, kind of. Ooh, that is a very complex question that I'm not sure I could give a fair and justified answer to. I mean, it's what I like is bringing on guests who have something interesting or different to offer. I like, how would you put it? Oh, I'm not even sure how to put it. I really am failing at English today. This is pathetic. I'll tell you what, if you ever see me streaming in Picarto, you might be disappointed now, because this is ridiculous. Come on, Midnight. You should be able to work better than this. But no, I think in terms of specific guests, in terms of actual named guests, I don't have any there in the top of my head. I mean, we've been quite lucky in the second season to have Dr. Wolf on and Flufflepath, which were, ridiculously huge names to get on, and I'm still amazed we somehow managed to do it. And I'm even more amazed that Sugar Dev and I managed to keep our mouth shut for the best part of a year about that. Seriously, like, the amount of conversations I've had with people, I think I had with you, or maybe with a couple of other of the bronies, like, suggesting, like, oh, it'd be great on Creative Vibes if you were to have Dr. Wolf or Flufflepath on. It'd be lovely. And it's just like, you don't know what's going on.
Well, that must have been tough on you.
Well, I survived, but it's just it was just quite funny, just the idea of, like, we knew what was coming, but no one else did. We couldn't say a word about it. But it was, it paid off, and it was a nice surprise for the end of the season. I mean, whether we'll have something like that for season 3, possibly. I mean, we might be able to pull something out of the hat. Quite what that'll be, I'm afraid I literally don't know, and that's not me trying to be vague or coy. It's just I literally do not know. But yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see what happens for season 3.
Alright, well, we've been going at this for about 20-25 minutes, so I'd say let's try and hot-foot it through some of these last questions, and then we'll end the interview there. So the next questions, straight up, your persona is a Pegasus named the Midnight Scribe. How did you come to these conclusions? How did your persona come about?
Oh, crikey, I reckon I might get this slightly wrong. It has been a wee while since, because it got created, I think, around about end of season 2, around about that time, and I think it was Sugar Dove that actually came up with it. I think it was Sugar Dove that came up with of it, perhaps Rouge as well, some of the high-end bronies that developed the persona. And the name Midnight Scribe, that came about from a competition that SugarDove did, I believe, on her DeviantArt, asking for suggestions for names. And I think either Midnight Scribe came up or something very similar to Midnight Scribe came up, and we kind of jiggered about with it. And they chose that name because of the fact that basically I, more in the past, but certainly now, I tend to write a lot during nighttime hours, particularly, midnight to 3 a.m., the amount of times I've worked on scripts, novels, short stories, that sort of thing. So basically, they came up with Midnight Scribe because it reflects who I am, basically, as a night owl writer, basically.
Fantastic. I personally, I love the name Midnight. I use it myself for my own brony persona outside of this channel, which has admittedly caused some confusion in some of the chat groups that we're both in, where we both use the Midnight names.
Well, John, it wouldn't be quite so bad if you didn't jump between like 2 or 3 different names.
I have to, because people start getting confused, so I have to change the name, then they get used to it, and then they're like, oh no, we know someone else with the same name, so I have to change again. I don't want to make a completely new name, because I've already got too many.
If you want to talk long names, you should see what name is on my birth certificate. I kid you not, I have a ridiculously long name for, my real name, my full, unedited name on my birth certificate is Kyle James Joshua Byron McCall. That is the name of a Bond villain.
At least all the words are short. They're only 5 letters long at most.
I know, but, I would say McCall is 6, but, they are relatively short, but it's still ridiculously long as a name. 3 middle names. Fault my dad, who decided, my mum and dad decided, it's going to be Kyle James McCall. Then suddenly, when they're in the registrar's office coming up with the name, he decided to add on Joshua and Byron onto it, and before mum could say anything, the name had been written on the piece of paper.
So damage had been done?
Damage had been done, and I've ended up with an incredibly long name. But the great thing is I get to bring it up as an anecdote anytime I meet someone new, so I get plenty mileage out of it.
Well, that aside, you've said that you're a writer, or did I say that? I forget how this interview has gone slightly. But
listen, the way it's going, I'm going to interview you. So apparently you're a writer. No, I won't.
So you're a writer outside of doing your creative vibes.
I try to be anyway. I have had a few radio plays aired on Scottish community radio and whatnot, and I've been writing scripts for a couple of years now, short stories, finished a novel, working on the second one, which I'm currently live streaming on Picarto as I'm trying to chomp through bits of it, because the second novel I worked on it initially for the NaNoWriMo challenge in November, and that went well, did the 50,000 words. I thought, great, I'll take Christmas off. Then came back in 2016 and forgot entirely how to write. So I spent the last 4 months trying to actually relearn how to write a novel. I'm being so slow and so lazy. I need to be better than this.
You're doing fine. Remember, I am the guy who started something in 2012 and didn't write the second chapter until the end of 2015. As far as I'm concerned, you're going exponentially fast. Pretty sure I just made up a word, but I'm a writer, I can do that.
Yeah, invent a new word. Why not?
So anywhere we can go to look at what you've written, or will there be anywhere in the future to go?
Future? Well, I tell you what, if you're wanting to see writing that I'm doing, my suggestion would be come on to the Picarto live streams that I'm doing whenever I'm on under the name Midnight Scribe, because right now I'm working on the novel just now, so you'll be able to see some of my writing in action. I haven't done fan fiction work or anything like that, and I haven't got many writing profiles outside, so there's not much place else where you can look for it, but I do have a radio play on iTunes, an old one I did for ABC Radio Alness. That was called Gore and Bore, and that is out there if you want to have a look at it. It's a free download. You're more than welcome to enjoy it, maybe.
Fantastic. Eventually one day I will have to look that up when I'm not busy procrastinating. Now, I've got one last question that I have to ask. I just have to ask this one. As a friend of Mad Munchkin, how does it feel living in constant fear of the threat of Mary Sue?
Oh, listen, me and Mary Sue get along like a house on fire. I tell you, these lies and slander about her are horrible. Let me tell you something. Mary Sue does the best tea and cake parties I have been to this side of the river. Absolutely fantastic. You go in there, perfect trays. The baking is like it's just out of the oven. They're just warm. The butter melts on your tongue when you eat it. It is so nice. I tell you what, you would love Mary Sue. Mary Sue is an absolutely lovely lady. I reckon she gets a bit too much stick for her own good. Hey, what can I say? She's perfect. She's absolutely lovely. And Maddie will now chase me down with a revolver.
Well, at least you're not a pigeon. That'd be horrendously bad luck. Now, I do believe that is all of my questions. I could come up with more, but it's been about half an hour or so. This recording's probably only going to be slightly under half an hour long when it's uploaded, I hope. So maybe have you on again sometime in the future for more questions. But until then, I thank you for coming onto the show and coming into the VIP room.
No worries. It's great to be here. Where's my pint?
There are many pints. They've been piling up on the table beside you. I don't know how you've missed them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, the problem is I'm a pair of lips. I don't have eyes.
Yes, that could be a thing. How do you drink? Like, does it like disappear into a void or just fall out the other side? It's just.
I'm afraid that's a Creative Vibe secret. You'll have to wait for the unofficial autobiography.
I can't wait. It's going to be an interesting read, if nothing else. But anyway, that's all the time we have for this interview. So thanks again for coming in for it and agreeing to it, Midnight Senpai.
Oh, don't mention it twice.
Until next time, cheers.